Show that cos square x plus sin square s is equals to 1. Let's start our discussion with a right angle triangle. This is hypotenuse side, this is the adjacent side, and this is the opposite side. Okay, so now look at this. We all know that from Pythagoras theorem, the hypotenuse square, which is the square of the longest side, is equals to the sum of the square of the other two sides. That is the opposite squared plus the adjacent squared. Okay, now the first step is that we are going to divide both sides by hypotenuse squared. Okay, so divide both sides by hypotenuse squared. So I'm going to have hypotenuse squared all over hypotenuse squared all over hypotenuse squared all over hypotenuse squared. Now hypotenuse squared all over hypotenuse squared, that will give me 1. Okay, 1 is equals to opposite squared over hypotenuse squared. I can write this as this: opposite over hypotenuse. Do you understand? Plus adjacent squared over hypotenuse squared. I can write it as this: adjacent over hypotenuse squared. Do you understand? Okay, now let's proceed. Don't forget, the relationship that exists between these three sides of this rectangle triangle is what? So-ca-toi. So-ca-toi. You understand? This is the mnemonic device that they use to. This is the relationship that exists between these three sides of the rectangle triangle. Where so, which is sine, is equals to what? Opposite over what? Hypotenuse, abi? And ca is equals to what? Which is cos, is equals to adjacent over hypotenuse, abi? And toi, which is tan is equals to what? Opposite over what? Over adjacent. Do you understand? So now, from this mnemonic device, look at this. We have opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse is what? Sine. Are you getting it? So if this angle is x, so sine x is equals to what? Opposite over hypotenuse. And cos x is equals to what? Adjacent over hypotenuse. And tan x is equals to what? Opposite over adjacent. Now let us proceed. Look at this. We have opposite over hypotenuse squared. If opposite over hypotenuse is what? Sine x, then opposite over hypotenuse squared is what? Sine square x. Do you understand? So for this, I'm going to have 1 is equals to sine square x, because opposite over hypotenuse is what? Sine x. So therefore, opposite over hypotenuse square will be the square of sine x. So that is what? Sine square x plus adjacent over hypotenuse. Go back to this trigonometric relationship of adjacent over hypotenuse is what? Cos x. So if adjacent over hypotenuse is cos x, that is adjacent over hypotenuse square will be what? Cos square x. So I'm going to have plus cos square x. So therefore, sine square x plus cos square x is equals to what? 1. Do you understand? So that is how we got the relationship that we use in that differential calculus.